Communication is such an important part of our lives, from the quite surface level conversations that we might have with somebody that we pass on the street, to the deeper, more intimate connection that we have with our partners, our close friends, and also ourselves. And over the past year, a little something has kind of solidified for me in a graphical term about communication, and I call it growing up by going down. And what I mean by that is I see in my own development, and I'm really curious to hear if this is the same with you, this idea of there's head communication, there's emotional communication, and then there's something that I call belly communication. So the head relies very strongly on logic, and it asks the question, please validate what I'm saying and say that you see me and say that you accept me. So it's based on facts and figures and all of the information that I can gather. Now, that's missing something, obviously, because there are certain things that we can't put into facts and figures. It's our emotions, it's certain unknown factors, things that we just maybe have a gut feeling of, that we go, this doesn't feel right, but I can't give you a logical reason why not. And so that's where a number of years ago I started experimenting with being quite raw with my with my expression, and I tell you, it had mixed results. But it was how to communicate just very directly. It was me essentially saying, "You will hear me. You will hear these emotions that I have, and I don't care if it doesn't make sense to you." And there are places where that worked really well, but there were a lot of places that caused a lot more trouble than it was actually a support. And it wasn't until I started integrating the two, the head, the logic, the emotional piece, that heart, that passion, into a space that I call that belly space, because it's not asking to be heard. It's saying, this is my truth. This is what's true for me. And you hear that difference? Because both of the other ones relied on the other person's response to validate. And this one says, no, no, no. This is my alignment. This is my truth. This is how I feel. This is perhaps raw, but it takes in all of the things that are going in me. And it just says, this is me. And it lays it out. And the moment that I started really getting a grasp on this belly communication, especially in intense moments when there were a lot of emotions and there was a lot of facts that just wanted to be thrown out. No, 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 but you did this. And then you remember X, Y, and Z. But from that moment where I could come back and just drop from my head down through my emotions into my belly, all of a sudden, my communication became much richer because I was just sharing my truth. So I'm curious if you have any situations right now in life where you have this desire to share something, but somehow the methodology that you're using to communicate just isn't working. And I'm curious if maybe this way, doing this little visualization, imagining yourself dropping down from your head, through your heart and emotions, and down into this belly space where you just share your truth as it is, with no requirements to it, and see what happens.